a few qualities of open data that are necessary foundations for communicating information for preserving data. Open data should be, on a fundamental level, findable information where individuals who want to engage in research will be able to find sets of data and will be able to locate it in some kind of database, whether it is a very public repository such as a GitHub page, or whether it is hosted in an institutional repository. It should be able to be accessed either simply by request or by the use of a search engine. These open data should also be accessible, meaning that if it is able to be found, a researcher should also be able to take hold of that data in some meaningful way as a download or even just a physical set, but typically this will be a digital medium of access for the researcher. And it should be the goal of open data ought to be, and is in most cases, to reduce barriers to access and make it so that researchers are able to find and get a hold of those data. Open data ought to also be reusable, meaning that researchers are not just able to access, but also to make use of that data in new contexts through new methodologies or approaches. And it ought to be reproducible so that these data are subject to similar methodological approaches. Researchers are able then to reproduce a similar set of data. This is very closely tied to the idea of data replicability, the ability for independent researchers to vet existing data results, and scholarly methodologies and frameworks to produce a similar set of data. And open data promotes this by making results not just described, but also readily available to researchers looking to conduct a replicability test of, say, a similar corpus or body of work or body of data for analysis. And another important key for open data is open data should be interoperable, meaning that things like file types, file structures should not be barriers to the utility of a set of data. And so data storage principles ought to keep in mind the utility and the diversity of hardware and software systems that will be used to access these data.